Isolation is a human experience that feels like being separated from the world. It's not just about being physically by yourself in a room. You can be surrounded by a crowd of people in a busy city and still feel utterly, profoundly alone. Isolation is a feeling deep inside, a sense of being disconnected from others, as if there is an invisible wall between you and everyone else. It's the feeling that no one truly sees you, no one understands you, and no one is there for you. This feeling can creep in slowly, like a fog, or it can arrive suddenly after a big life change, such as moving to a new place, losing a loved one, or even starting a new job where you don't know anyone. It's a quiet personal space that can become a prison if you stay there too long. This feeling of being cut off is a powerful one. Humans are social creatures. We are built to connect, to share stories, to laugh, and to support each other. Our brains are wired for community. When that connection is broken, something inside us starts to feel wrong. It's like a plant being kept in a dark cupboard, deprived of the sunlight it needs to grow and thrive. Isolation starves us of the social nourishment we need. It tells a lie to our minds, a persistent whisper that says we are on our own, that our problems are ours alone to carry, and that reaching out is pointless or impossible. It's a state of being that can affect anyone, at any age, from any walk of life. Think of it like being a ship lost at sea. You can see other ships in the distance, their lights twinkling, but you have no radio to call them. You float in the vast dark water, watching them sail by, feeling the immense distance between your vessel and theirs. You might shout, but the wind carries your voice away. That is what emotional isolation feels like. It's the proximity to others without the connection, the sight of community without the feeling of belonging. This separation can be especially hard in our modern world, where we can see everyone's seemingly perfect lives online, making our own loneliness feel even more stark and painful by comparison. The reasons for isolation are many and varied. Sometimes it's a choice, a desire for solitude that goes on for too long. Other times, it's forced upon us by circumstances we cannot control. It could be an illness that keeps you at home, a job that requires you to work alone for long hours, or social anxiety that makes it terrifying to interact with others. It can be the result of a breakup, a family argument, or the simple fact of growing older and seeing your social circle shrink. Whatever the cause, the result is the same. A profound sense of being on the outside looking in, a silent observer of a life you feel you are no longer a part of. When you are isolated, your world can start to feel very small and very gray. The feeling is often a heavy one, like a thick blanket that muffles all the sounds of joy and makes it hard to move. It can feel like you are living life behind a pane of glass. You see others laughing, talking, and sharing moments, but you can't quite hear them or touch them. There is a deep, aching loneliness that settles in your chest, a constant companion that reminds you of what you are missing. Days can blend into one another, each one the same as the last, marked only by the rising and setting of the sun. The silence can become deafening, filled only with your own thoughts, which often turn negative. This state of being alone can make you feel incredibly sad. It's a sadness that isn't always sharp or dramatic, but a dull, persistent ache that drains your energy and motivation. It can feel like walking through mud, where every step requires a huge amount of effort. Simple tasks like getting out of bed or making a meal can feel like climbing a mountain. You might find yourself crying without knowing exactly why, or feeling a sense of hopelessness about the future. This is the emotional weight of isolation, the slow erosion of your spirit. It's a feeling that you are invisible, that if you disappeared, no one would even notice you were gone. Beyond the sadness, isolation can also make you feel constantly on edge. It can breed a sense of fear and anxiety. When you are alone with your thoughts for too long, your mind can start to play tricks on you. Small worries can grow into giant fears. You might start to overthink every past conversation, convincing yourself you said the wrong thing. You might become anxious about leaving the house, worried about how you will interact with people. This anxiety creates a vicious cycle. The fear of social interaction makes you stay home, which in turn deepens your isolation and fuels your anxiety even more. It feels like being trapped in a loop with no clear exit. The experience of isolation also changes how you see yourself. It can chip away at your self-esteem, making you feel worthless or unlovable. The voice in your head might start telling you that you are alone because there is something wrong with you, that you are not interesting enough, or funny enough, or good enough for other people. You start to believe the lie that your loneliness is your own fault. This can make it even harder to reach out because you feel ashamed of your situation. It feels like a personal failure, a secret you have to hide from the world, which only builds the walls around you even higher. There is a very real and direct line that connects long-term isolation to mental health problems. Our minds are not designed to be alone for extended periods. When we are cut off from others, our brain's chemistry can actually change. Think of it like a garden. A healthy mind, like a healthy garden, needs sunlight, positive social interaction, water, emotional support, and nutrients, new experiences. Isolation is like a long, harsh winter for the mind, where everything becomes frozen and still. It creates the perfect conditions for mental health issues like depression and anxiety to take root and grow, turning a temporary feeling of sadness into a more serious and lasting condition. Depression is one of the most common consequences of prolonged isolation. The constant sadness, the lack of energy, and the feeling of hopelessness are not just feelings, they are symptoms of a clinical condition. When you are isolated, there's no one there to offer a different perspective, to tell you that your negative thoughts are not true, or to simply distract you with a shared laugh. You are left alone with the most critical voice you will ever hear, your own. This internal monologue can become a loop of self-criticism and despair, reinforcing the belief that things will never get better. Isolation feeds depression, and depression in turn deepens isolation. Anxiety disorders also flourish in the lonely space created by isolation. Social anxiety, as mentioned, can become a major barrier, making the thought of meeting new people or even talking to a cashier feel terrifying. But general anxiety can also increase. Without the reassurance of others, the world can feel like a much more dangerous and unpredictable place. You might worry constantly about your health, your finances, or your safety. Your body can enter a state of high alert, known as the fight or flight response, but with no real danger to fight or flee from. This chronic stress is exhausting and can lead to panic attacks and other physical symptoms. Furthermore, isolation can affect our cognitive abilities. It can make it harder to think clearly, to concentrate, or to make decisions. Our brain is a muscle, and social interaction is one of its most important exercises. Conversations force us to listen, to process information, to think of responses, and to see things from another person's point of view. Without this regular mental workout, our thinking can become sluggish and repetitive. In older adults, chronic loneliness has even been linked to a faster decline in cognitive function and an increased risk of conditions like Alzheimer's disease. It shows just how essential connection is for a healthy, functioning mind. Even when you feel lost in the fog of isolation, it is so important to remember that there are paths that lead back to the light. The first step, and often the hardest, is to simply acknowledge the feeling and decide to do something small about it. You don't have to solve everything at once. The goal is not to suddenly become the most popular person you know. The goal is to take one tiny step towards connection. This could be as simple as going for a walk and making eye contact with someone and smiling. It could be going to a coffee shop just to be around the gentle hum of other people. These small acts can begin to break the spell of loneliness. Finding connection can start with rediscovering old hobbies or finding new ones that involve other people. Think about something you have always been curious about, whether it's painting, learning a language, joining a book club, or playing a sport. These activities provide a gentle, low-pressure way to meet people who share your interests. The focus is on the activity itself, not on forced conversation. Friendships can grow naturally from a shared passion. Even online communities centered around a hobby can be a great source of connection, allowing you to interact with others from the comfort of your own home, which can be a good first step. Volunteering is another powerful way to combat isolation. When you help others, you're giving yourself a sense of purpose and value. It reminds you that you have something to offer the world. Whether it's helping at an animal shelter, a local food bank, or a community garden, volunteering puts you side by side with other people who care. It shifts your focus from your own internal struggles to the needs of others, which can be incredibly healing. It provides structure to your day and creates a natural opportunity for social interaction, reminding you that you are part of a larger community. Finally, and most importantly, never be afraid to ask for help. Talking to a friend, a family member, or a mental health professional is a sign of immense strength, not weakness. A therapist or counselor can provide you with tools to challenge negative thoughts and manage anxiety. They can offer a safe, non-judgmental space to talk about how you are feeling. There are support groups, both online and in person, for people experiencing loneliness and depression. Remember, you do not have to carry this weight by yourself. Connection is possible. Healing is possible. The quiet room of isolation does not have to be your permanent home. It can just be a place you once visited.